So I'm here on Roger's boat, Star Mist in Swanett Marina, and we've been having a bit of a problem with the speed indicating gauge. I'll show you the gauge now. So here's the gauge, this one here, and as you can see it says speed 0. It would say 0 now because we're parked up, so to speak, in the marina, but it's been saying 0 even when we've been travelling along at quite a high speed. So we suspect there is a problem with the system, and the fault we suspect is to do with the way the signal for the gauge works. It comes from a transducer that pokes through the bottom of the hull. On the outside of the transducer there's a paddle wheel which is driven along when the boat's moving through the water, and that sends an electrical signal to this gauge. So our suspicion is that that paddle wheel is jammed up and isn't working properly. So this morning we're going to take the paddle wheel out of the bottom of the boat, which of course will temporarily mean there's a big hole in the bottom of the boat. So let's see how we get on with this job. Do you think we're going to sink the boat this morning, Roger?
We'll try not to.
So just explain what you're going to do then, Roger.
Right, I'm going to take the blind plug and check that it's got some Vaseline on so it slips in and out quite easily. And make sure that's all okay. And then I will unscrew this collar on the sensor, pull the sensor out. Now at that moment we're exposed to the water outside the hull. This is the bottom of the hull, so water will pour in through here. The trick is put the blind plug in before too much water comes in.
Do you think it's the right thread, Roger, on that?
I've done the job before, so I'm reasonably confident. So for tools I have a variety of sponges.
So just on the off chance that everything did go wrong, Roger, what would happen then?
The steps to take then are very large ones.
You've got the towels.
Yeah. It would be really embarrassing is all I can say. Yeah. So I'll put a little bit of extra Vaseline.
Is the boat well supported on the pontoon, tied tightly up?
Have you checked the tide to see if it's low tide? We just stand on the keel. Okay, so here we go. So that's ready to go in. I also have a couple of small screwdrivers from the toolbox because there will be a lot of marine life and growth around the paddle, so we've got to free that up.
Okay.
So the first thing is to loosen off the collar. As we loosen that off, it will drive this up and we'll start to get water ingress. So the trick is here to be ready and do it as quickly as possible. Blind plug in and secured.
Excellent.
Old towels are available for mopping up excess water. Now if we tighten that down just to be 100% sure, if you just look at the paddle wheel, it's very stiff to turn because of all the growth which is inside here. Not a lot, but just sufficient to cause friction which will stop that turning. So what I'm going to do now is just clean that up. So if we want to go off camera for a few minutes. The sensor. So the sensor's been cleaned, spins freely. On the top of the sensor there is an arrow, and that must be to the bow of the boat. So we're now going to do the reverse process. Remove the blind plug. Insert the sensor. Checking that we have the arrow pointing forwards. Give it a good push down on the top to make sure it's well seated. tighten up the retaining collar, and all that's left now is to bail it out and tidy everything up.
That's a crew job, isn't it? That's great, Roger. Thank you very much.
All right. And then what I like to do is leave it for about 20 minutes, come back and just check round to make sure that it's fully seated and we've got no leaks.
Excellent.
Job done.